Hello everyone, welcome to DAG Excel video number 4. In my last video, we talked about cell references. Um, in cell references, we were looking at how you can copy a formula down across on an array and see if it can logically reference based on your pattern. That's where we took advantage of the mixed cell references where you lock a certain part of the reference, whether column or row, and leave another part free to move. In this situation, we were trying to simulate a multiplication table so that you can totally copy a formula and it quickly references the correct areas that you need to reference. Normally this is helpful if you're typing a formula. You don't have to type so many number of times for you to finish writing the formulas. Formulas are supposed to make your work easier and totally avoid typing too many times. Today, I will quickly explain some error types that you'll find. When I open this video, you notice I put a word here. And the first error type that you'll find is the value error. So I'll talk about errors, how they come about, what they mean, and possibly some of the formulas that you'll be using in order to resolve some of the errors that you see. Everyone in their Excel life comes across that worksheet that has some error in it, and you're like, what is this? And today I'll try and go through the errors that I'm familiar with. If there are more, I'm sure you will come across them. These are the errors that I know Excel 2016, which is installed on my PC, that it has. So I'll move on to discussing some of these errors. The first error that I know about is the value error, as seen here. When you're multiplying and you put text where it's supposed to be multiplying, it can't multiply text with a number, it gives you a value error. So Excel this is a way that it will tell you that this can't evaluate into a value. When you come to ref error, a ref error is when part of a reference has been moved or deleted. In this one, it won't work because it's still multiplying, the reference is still there. But if you delete a reference that it's referencing maybe in another sheet, or you move it totally, it evaluates the reference error. It just tells you that the reference is invalid. Moving on to the next error type, you come to the divide by zero error. This evaluates whenever a mathematical operation attempts to divide by zero. In layman's terms, it's not possible. In some other types of mathematics, like real analysis, we totally divide by zero and it evaluates to infinity. But in this situation, Excel, in mathematics, linear algebra and logic that it works with, it can divide by zero and it will tell you divide by zero error. The other error type you will find is the name error. In the name error, it's just telling you that it doesn't have a name like that. So you could be typing a formula that, for example, if you're typing a VLOOKUP, it gives you a screen tip, but if you don't complete typing and you press enter, it will say it's not a valid name. It doesn't know what VL is. If you wanted it to be text, you would put it in inverted commas. That's a way to force Excel to know that this is text and to return it to the cell. But if you just typed in a formula, I want to type sum or subtotal or whatever function here, instead of selecting the cell, you simply end here and press enter. It will tell you, I don't know that name. I don't know what SU is. And it says name error. Some names can be given to Excel so that it understands. In here, I gave a small example of you put the sales figures 100 and 200, and you name this range. When you look to the name box here, you see that I named it as sales. When you name this range, Excel will understand that range. So that when you write a formula, the sum of cells, this is particularly useful if you are trying to send this sheet to someone else who would want to understand what you're doing. So instead of using cell reference, you can give it a name so that they totally understand what it is you're summing. Now, this cells on its own is actually a name that Excel understands because you named it. Remember, it was named and it's got a blue outline here. It knows that that's cells. If you hit F9 to evaluate it, it tells you there's 100, there's a 200. And when you dump these two to the sum function, the sum understands and it adds them. So if you find a name error, most likely you started typing a formula or you're referring to a name like cells that is not stored in Excel. So you've got to name whatever range you want to name if you want it to understand. When we come to now error, this is what uh, Excel gives you whenever it can't understand a specified range that you've given it, a formula or you've given it. So for example, in here I'd put sum A1 C1, but I put a space here um, between A1 and C1. So Excel doesn't understand it. Normally understands when you put a colon or semicolon here, then it will know that this is a range you're talking about. But a space, it doesn't know what to do with it. If you press enter, it will say now. It doesn't understand the range that you're giving it. When you come to not available, when you find this error, it means that you're using a formula, in this case match, VLOOKUP, index, that should return a value from a table or give you an answer. Then it can't find what you're looking for. It says it's not available. It's polite. So it will evaluate to not available if you give match or VLOOKUP, a table that doesn't have the information that you're looking for. Then there are these type of errors we call false errors, which are like a fence, the pound sign. This normally occurs if you give Excel a negative date, or you give it a number that's longer than the width of the column. So I'll give an example. If I formatted a cell as a date, in my formatting, say this is a short date, Excel understands date as a serial number starting from 31st December 1899. So day 1 to Excel is 1 January 1900. So if I put 1 there and I press enter, it will be 1 January 1900. As long as it's formatted as a date, it will understand that that serial number represents 1/01/1900. If I put 4000 in that cell, say 4000, it will totally understand that this is 13th December 2010. Now Excel will understand this because it understands the 4000 as a serial number. Notice if I take it back to general number formatting, it's still the 4000. That's how come date mathematics is possible. If I put as a long date, it will totally understand. But in the same date cell, which we formatted as a date, if I put a negative, say -1, Excel won't understand, so it will give me a pound sign. So no matter how wide I make the cell, it will just tell me I don't know what to put in there, just put a fence. If you have a cell that has numbers, a long string of number, and you reduce the width so much, it will not show the number, so it will just give you the pound sign. So between D and E, if I come to this boundary here, it gives me this arrow to the left and right. If I double click, it will auto fit this cell content and show you the full length. So this is all about errors. You will find that there are formula types that help you handle errors, like the IsNA. IsNA tells you if it's true or false if something evaluates into an error. IsError checks if it's an error, it checks if it's a not available error, value error, reference error, divide by zero error, or the name error. It also gives you the now error, and then the if error also returns true or false if it checks it's an alternative to the is error. So this is error and is error. The difference between these two is that this one will check most of the errors. This one will not show you if it is a now error. Error.type, this is a formula that shows you the type of error that is there. Excel errors are numbered, so you have the now error is number 1, divided by 0 error is number 2. So the error type that you're returning, if you see an error, just put a formula and reference the cell that has the error. It will tell you the number that of that error, and you should be able to help. So it will return a numeric value, say 3, then it's a value error that you've got. The if error, this combines the if and the is error functions, and it allows you to give it an alternative. We'll get into these functions and we introduce formulas and functions to you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video and would like to subscribe, click subscribe on the video link below. See you next video.